Welcome to this video, which is part of a series of training videos for the Colonial Waterbird program. This video will cover an overview of the data collection protocol. This video will include an overview of data collection and entry with some key points to remember and focus on during the survey, a protocol overview with descriptions of the equipment you will need, the data sheets you will fill out, and an example of a colony map that you can create at your site. Data should be recorded neatly with clear handwriting. Be concise and consistent with how you record the information, and make sure each section is completely filled out. Weather and visibility conditions may change between trips and make it harder to see active nests or chicks that you had previously recorded. Only record the ones that are currently visible. Each data sheet should have counts that represent a snapshot in time. Do your best to record what is there on the day that you visit. Do not try to fill in information gaps by making inferences based on what you may have seen in previous visits. Understand that there will always be some unavoidable sources of error in your counts, for example, due to limited visibility or chick size and behavior, but that these sources of error are expected and can be considered when the counts are used. In each month, there are 3-day windows, Saturday to Monday, to conduct your survey. Surveys must be completed between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. and should be an hour or more in length, depending on the amount of activity at your colony. Monitoring occurs from February to August and includes 6 to 8 survey dates per colony, depending on the species observed. Great blue heron colonies are monitored from early February to July. Double-crested cormorants and egrets are monitored from early March through early August. Gull, tern, and shorebird colonies are monitored from early April through the end of August. If your particular site is active earlier or later in the season, we encourage you to monitor the colony beyond the posted survey schedule so as to fully capture the breeding activity. Our goal is to monitor once a month, during the first weekend, during the early and late nesting months, and twice a month, first and third weekends, during the peak nesting months. For the current survey dates, please refer to the Colonial Waterbird website listed here. You will also find the Colonial Waterbird monitoring manual there as well. If you cannot monitor your colony during one of the survey windows, please let us know as soon as possible so that we can work with you to arrange a substitute. The equipment you will bring to the field are binoculars, a spotting scope, field guides, data sheets, and, depending on your site, you may need keys, permits, or lock combinations. Those who have sites that require keys, permits, or combinations will obtain them from the program coordinator at the start of the season. If you are working in an area that requires a permit, make sure that you always have a printed copy with you in the field. Sites are best monitored by spotting scope. Spotting scopes are necessary at most colonies to obtain accurate counts and will greatly add to your pleasure in viewing nesting behavior. If you do not have a scope, SFBBO has scopes for volunteers that can be checked out for the day of your survey if arrangements are made in advance. Scopes are limited, however, especially during summer field season, so we encourage volunteers to use their own scopes if possible. Data sheets can be downloaded off the Colonial Waterbird website. With these tools, you will estimate the number of breeding adults, active nests, and chicks, and note nesting behaviors, such as incubation, nest building, and courtship displays, and any evidence of human disturbance or predation. Most of our sites are easily accessible, but it is always best to put safety first. Whenever you go out to monitor a colony, tell someone where you are going and how long you expect to be gone. Bring water and stay hydrated. The weather can vary throughout the season. Make sure you bring layers and sun protection as needed. And if you are monitoring a site that requires driving on levees, you cannot drive on the levee within 5 days of rain. That is a requirement of our access permits. It will keep the levees from being damaged and keep you from getting stuck in soft mud. If this prevents you from accessing your site during an assigned monitoring window, that is okay. We also want to make sure the birds are safe. It is important to observe at least 500 feet away from the colony. Some birds can be sensitive to disturbance and may flush if you are too close, which leaves the eggs and chicks vulnerable to disturbance or predation. If you notice the birds responding to your presence, immediately increase your distance until you are no longer disturbing them. Everyone who is monitoring a colony will fill out this first data sheet. Each section must be filled out completely. The following must be recorded. The official colony name. Ask us if you're not sure what this is. Your full name. How visible the site is and what, if anything, is impeding visibility. The total counts for your colony. There is a section each for Hep species and Goot species. You will be informed of the species to survey at your site. For each breeding species at your site, record the total nests and individuals. Only record adults if you are able to identify them as part of the breeding colony based on location or behavior. If you see additional adults that do not appear to be part of the breeding colony, for example, a large group of foraging adults that don't seem to be exhibiting any breeding behavior, You can record them in the notes section. Finally, please let us know if there are any significant disturbances at the site, human or otherwise. There will be more information on filling out your disturbance table later in the training. This is the second data sheet for anyone who is monitoring a colony with herons, egrets, or cormorants. Every nest in the colony will be assigned a stage based on how far along breeding has progressed. There will be more information on nest staging in the next video. Pick a single stage for each nest and tally it on this page. Use your best judgment and the descriptions here to stage every nest that you can see. Only use the unknown category for nests that are obscured, for example, blocked by foliage. For stage 4 nests only, tally up the nests based on their brood sizes, 1-chick nests, 2-chick nests, etc. Do not record this information for nests in any other stage. We focus on stage 4 because it is the easiest for accurately counting chicks and gives us the best information about fledging rates. At the end of the page, you can fill in any additional notes about the colony that have not been captured elsewhere. This is the second data sheet for anyone who is monitoring a colony with gulls, terns, or shorebirds. What you count depends on which stage you are looking at. A description of the nesting stage guide is at the top of the page. For stage 0, you count adults showing pre-nesting behavior. Stage 1, count nests, and stages 2 to 4 only count the number of chicks of the appropriate age. We tally this way because chicks of these species leave the nest shortly after hatching. It can seem confusing on paper, but will become clear when you visit your colony. At the end of the page, you can fill in any additional notes about the colony that have not been captured elsewhere. We ask that you create your own colony map to keep track of nest locations during each season. It is also beneficial to take photos of the site and nests. Here are some examples of what they could look like.